What makes Dexter so interesting are the times when his true emotions break through, when we see small glimpses of his humanity beneath the darkness. Whether it's his relationship with his sister Deborah, his love for Rita and her children, or the rare times he shows mercy, these moments remind us that Dexter is more than just his dark passenger. He's a flawed man, torn between his need for connection and the monster inside him. It's these cracks in his carefully controlled life that make us care about Dexter. Because in those moments, we see something surprising, a man fighting to keep his humanity, even when it seems impossible. Dexter lives by a set of rules called Harry's Code, taught to him by his adoptive father, Harry.
My father taught me one thing above all others.
These rules help Dexter control his dark urges and focus them on those who have done wrong but escaped justice. It's his way of feeling like he's doing something right, even though it's rooted in violence. But Dexter's relationship with the code is more than just following rules. It reflects his inner battle between the need to kill and the desire to connect with others. As he interacts with people like his sister Deborah and others close to him, he begins to question his own actions. These moments show the struggle inside Dexter. He's not just a killer following a set of rules. He's a man torn between doing what he feels is right and the moral doubts that keep creeping in. His journey isn't just about following the code, it's about trying to be more than his dark side. And here it gets interesting. Rita Bennett was Dexter's first real connection to a life of normalcy, something he never thought he could have. Initially, he chose her because she was safe. Rita was recovering from an abusive relationship and wasn't emotionally demanding, making her the perfect cover for Dexter's double life. But as time passed, something unexpected happened. Dexter began to care. Rita and her children, Astor and Cody, became more than just a cover. They became his family. Their smiles, their needs, and their trust unlocked a part of Dexter he thought was long buried. With Rita, Dexter glimpsed what it meant to be a husband, a father, and perhaps a good man. One of the most touching examples of Dexter's humanity came when he confronted someone who hurt Astor. This wasn't about the code or justice, it was about protecting someone he loved. In that moment, Dexter was not just a killer, he was a father figure, driven by compassion. Rita's death, tragically orchestrated by the Trinity Killer, shattered Dexter's carefully constructed world. Her loss was a breaking point, forcing him to feel the raw grief he'd spent a lifetime avoiding. For all his darkness, Dexter's love for Rita was real. Her death reminded us that beneath the monster, there was still a man capable of genuine love and devastating heartbreak. When Dexter met Lumen Pierce, he saw something in her that he hadn't seen in a long time, someone who needed his help. Lumen had survived horrible abuse, and instead of hunting her down like his usual targets, Dexter chose to protect her. Their connection was different from Dexter's usual victims. He didn't just want revenge for her, he wanted to help her heal. Together, they hunted the men who hurt her, and Dexter found purpose in offering her the justice she deserved. For the first time, Dexter's actions weren't about feeding his dark passenger, they were about redemption, his and hers. Dexter realized that he didn't always have to embrace the darkness. Sometimes he could fight it. When Lumen left, Dexter understood it was her chance to move on. But her departure left him questioning whether he too could ever find peace. Deborah Morgan, Dexter's sister, was more than a sister. She was his anchor. Despite his dark secrets, Deborah loved him unconditionally, and Dexter did everything to protect her, even at the cost of his own safety. She was the only person who truly saw Dexter as both a brother and a friend, and their bond was unwavering. When Deborah found herself in danger, Dexter didn't hesitate to act, putting himself at risk to save her. This wasn't about following the code, it was about love. But when Deborah learned the truth about Dexter's dark side, their relationship was tested. In a heartbreaking moment, she had to choose between protecting him or doing what was right. Her choice to kill LaGuerta to protect Dexter shattered her, and it highlighted just how deeply she cared for him, even at the cost of her own morals. Dexter allowed Deborah to make the choice. and this act proved how far he was willing to let go of his own values for her. Through all the darkness, Deborah remained Dexter's light, the one person he could rely on. Losing her was the hardest blow of all, leaving Dexter to face his demons alone, with no one left to remind him of his humanity.
I know you think you're a bad person, Deb, after everything that's happened, but you're not. You're a good person.
Then there was Brother Sam, who was unlike anyone Dexter had ever met. A former criminal turned preacher. Brother Sam was a man with a past similar to Dexter's, one filled with violence and crime, but he had turned his life around. Dexter was initially skeptical of Sam's faith and his ability to change, seeing him as just another person hiding behind a facade. But as Dexter spent more time with him, Sam's kindness and wisdom began to challenge Dexter's beliefs about good and evil. When Brother Sam was shot, Dexter stayed by his side, showing genuine care in a way he rarely did for anyone. In Sam's final moments, he asked Dexter to forgive his shooter, a request that forced Dexter to confront his own rage and desire for vengeance. Though he couldn't forgive the man, Sam's words planted a seed of doubt in Dexter's mind. Brother Sam's influence was brief, but it opened Dexter's eyes to the possibility of redemption, not just for others, but for himself. Even someone as broken as Dexter could still wrestle with the idea of mercy. Then there is Zach Hamilton. When Dexter met him, he saw a younger version of himself, someone struggling with violent impulses. Dexter was faced with a choice: follow the code and eliminate Zach, or try to teach him how to control his darkness. Instead of killing Zach, Dexter decided to mentor him, hoping to show him that a person with darkness inside could still choose a different path. Dexter saw in Zach a chance to rewrite his own story, one where he could help someone else avoid the mistakes he made. Though Dexter didn't fully trust Zach, he offered him a chance for redemption, something Dexter himself could never fully achieve. By guiding Zach, Dexter proved that despite everything, he still believed in the possibility of change, even for someone like him. But that wasn't everything. Dexter's love for his son, Harrison, became his greatest motivation in the final season. Despite the darkness inside him, Dexter wanted Harrison to have the life he never could, a life free from the shadows that haunted him. Dexter had always kept his dark side hidden from his son, but as Harrison grew older, Dexter feared that his own darkness would one day affect him. The constant battle between his need to protect Harrison and the reality of what he was began to take a toll on Dexter. He realized that he couldn't both be the father he wanted to be and the man he had become. He couldn't keep Harrison safe while still embracing the darkness that defined him. When Dexter finally accepted that he could no longer protect Harrison from the life he led, he made the heartbreaking decision to disappear. He faked his own death, sending Harrison away with Hannah, the only other person he trusted, to start a new life in Argentina. Dexter's final act of self-sacrifice was to give up the only thing that truly mattered to him, his son. This was the culmination of Dexter's humanity. In the end, he proved that even someone as consumed by darkness as him could make the ultimate sacrifice for love. By walking away, Dexter not only protected Harrison, but he also demonstrated that beneath everything, he was still capable of real, selfless love. He chose to fade into the background, knowing that his absence would give Harrison the chance at the life he deserved, something Dexter could never give him. Dexter's choice to isolate himself in the end, to never return, was the most human decision he could make, proving that love, even from someone like him, can be a powerful force.